Hello again, everybody. This is going to be part 3, the last part of restoring the Yamaha Natural Sound CR-420 receiver. Since last time I finished cleaning up everything. Now the only thing left to do is do the LED bulb upgrade. Now I've already started here. Basically what I did and what you've got to do is make new LED bulbs or find new LED bulbs. Now I found someone on the internet on a forum who made them specifically for this receiver. And unfortunately you can't just hook up any LED bulb because you need the proper resistance. So if you're really smart, you can find out what resistance you need and make these yourself. I didn't have that kind of time, so I ordered them. Some dude on a forum, and it cost me $20. And he put the resistors in the bulbs themselves, and they're shrink wrapped there or heat shrinked, and so they're all set with the proper resistance all ready to go. So what I did was cut all 3 of the old bulbs out very close to the head, okay, just so you have enough wire to play with. Then I stripped them, and then I just put some heat shrink down at the bottoms here just for later, but basically what I did was I just twisted them together, because these are polarity sensitive and you're going to have to test them out. Luckily I got mine on the first shot, and there we go. One clear one, white light for the front pointer, and then 2 green ones, because that's Yamaha's color, for the front AM signal. Now, I just basically pulled them out. This one, for the pointer, you've got to undo these 2 screws and take off this lid, take them out and put them on. I put them back on so I wouldn't lose them. When I'm finished, I'll take it apart again and put it back in. This one just fits right inside here. The other ones, though, when you took them off, they had a little black plastic nubbin around the lights themselves to fit in these holes. It's hard to see, but to fit in these holes here. Now I'm going to have to put electrical tape or something like that to make them fit snugly. Now this won't move, so it's not a huge deal, but fitting in sort of snugly should be a good priority. This one, it's screwed in, so it's not too bad. So what I'm going to do, though, is through the magic of camera video tricks, I am going to solder all these lines in place, and using heat shrink, which, like I said, I've had one for wire here. I will shrink around the wire so it'll be all electrically safe, and then put it all back together. I'll show the wiring all finished, and then I'll show a test run. Okay, and now it's all done. Now, if I didn't show before, this is what heat shrink is. Okay, it's just this little tube, I don't know, plastic, some odd material. Basically, you can get it at any auto parts store, electronics store. Try to get the smallest you can. And what you do is, like I said before, I cut about half of it off, and I put it around the wire, and I soldered it, and then when I soldered it, I moved it up the wire over the solder joint, and then you just use a hair dryer. You gotta have a little patience, and eventually it will shrink down to roughly the size of the wire. That way it's protected from shorting or anything like that. Now I just use a little wire tie to clean it up. Like I said, these ones to the AM/FM meter there, they're stationary, so I just cleaned them up, put them out of the way. The one for the actual pointer itself, you can let it kind of go, and it just moves around. So as long as it doesn't get caught or anything, give it a trial. It's okay. But yeah, so all the wires are hooked up, and again, I just put a little bit of electrical tape around. They just need to be stuffed in, and these things, obviously this part of it doesn't get moved around too much, so Put a little bit of electrical tape around there, and it sits in there fairly tightly. So yeah, I will now turn this guy on. Same speakers I had before, just a couple of Kenwood ones from a hi-fi system. Nothing overly special. All my knobs are back on. They're all in the right positions on the actual, on the stems themselves. So she is basically all set to go. So I'm just going to turn off lights. Now, the FM AM ones show up pretty good. The pointer, it shows up pretty good as well, but the FM AM ones, since there's two lights in the same spot, show up really good. So let me just turn those lights on. Okay, I'll turn all the lights in here off, and then you can see what I mean. Those are the FM AM lights, and that's the pointer light. So in the complete darkness, they're pretty bright, and you can see this guy, the pointer, moving back and forth. Now, like I said, that's in the complete darkness. Usually it's not going to happen like that, but again, those lights are pretty bright. So let me just crank a light back on here. All right, now we'll give it a sound trial. Now, if you remember, the problems from before were that we had static from the volume button, or from the volume knob, sorry, the balance, that kind of stuff, the bass, the treble, and that was just, again, from dirty pots and all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't have a really good antenna or anything properly hooked up, so I'm just going to hold it so we get better reception in here. But here we go. Yes, I swear it's a truth. Oh, that's crappy music. Which mic? All right, that's better. So again, just not getting a good signal from the station. But if you can hear that, when we move the volume knob and the balance knob, there's no static anymore. Going to the left. Okay. Going over to the right. Both are working good. No static. Okay. We'll turn the volume up. Now the only static you're hearing is just from the station. I just don't have good reception. Now it might not come through in the video, but there is no static anymore. Okay? The loudness one. Loudness is good. Okay, treble. Bass. Okay, so there was no static from any of those knobs as you're turning them. The loudness one pops a little bit, but with a loudness control, it's kind of hard. But again, so that was the LED upgrade, the cleanup of a Yamaha Natural Sound CR-420, all finished. Now all I got to do is pop the top back on with 4 screws, and we're all set. So thanks for viewing, guys. If you got any questions, just put them in the comments. Thanks.